Hi everybody, Jenny here from Tarot Reading London with my tarot energy update for October. It's looking like a bit of a sober month, I have to say. I took 4 cards, as I always do, to guide us through the month, and with each card I ask a question. So the first question is, what is our overarching energy experience of this next month? So nice, actually, the 10 of Cups. So the 10 of Cups is where we find our core emotional happiness. It's basically a coming home card. So the 10 of Cups shows us the archetypal mum and dad, 2 children playing in a field, little cottage, and a rainbow. So it's a very idealistic theme. Now, the idea here, I think, is that we're going to be very focused on finding that happiness over October. I think there's going to be a real sense of bringing things in, bringing things home, finding a sense of togetherness with our emotional tribe. And that's really important, because as we find that our travel and our ability to meet within larger groups or go out to events is still unfortunately restricted, our core family groups are going to be incredibly important. Now, this has been a theme running through the last couple of months, but I think in October, especially as the weather gets colder and a bit more of a chilly wind starts to blow, coming inside and being part of our core emotional tribe is going to become even more important, because that's where we're going to find our comfort. And I think that's going to be our overarching focus for October. So the next question I asked was, what should we embrace? And that was an interesting one, because the card I drew was the moon. Not an easy card to embrace, because the moon represents our fear. So in what way should we embrace our fear? The moon in tarot shows us the world in a half light. We can't see clearly when we are confronted with our fear. It means that we're not able to plan effectively. We can't see where we're going. Basically, we become a bit immobilized. So what happens when we embrace that, and when we look at it as being exactly what it is, which is fear, we become a bit more freed up. Now, what we don't want to do is just power through it and pretend that we're not afraid, because there's so much anxiety out there in the field at the moment. People are feeling very unsettled. There's a lot of just general instability out there, and the need for some kind of stability is really, really powerful. But unfortunately, we don't have it this month. So instead of just pretending that, we're just going to power through and be really strong, or or becoming frozen with it, what this card is asking us to do is actually go into it a little bit and look at exactly what our fears are and see them for what they are, and take them seriously, and give ourselves compassion for that fear, understanding, and don't try and just brush it under the carpet. So it's going to be really important to take those fears seriously, but not become immobilized by them. Now, it's a little bit of a balancing act, isn't it? So what should we turn away from? What will not serve us this month? Well, we have the Page of Wands, the lovely Page of Wands, the spirit of transformation. When she leads us forward, she leads us with new plans, new exciting ideas, things that take us out of our comfort zone. This is not something that we need to be focusing on during October. So unfortunately, October looks like a month where we should be staying within our comfort zone and bringing everything back in-house, back into where it's safe and warm and where we feel protected and loved. So what is the overarching advice for the month of October, and for that I drew the Five of Cups. Again, a little bit of a gritty card on the face of it. The Five of Cups describes the grief that I'm feeling in a lot of the readings that I'm doing. There is grief and there is some depression out there. People are feeling low and feeling sad. And the moon asks us to understand that, and to not just try and make it go away, but to deal with it. And the Five of Cups is us coming to terms with what we need to come to terms with, or whatever that resonates with you as, whether it's a divorce, whether it's job losses, whether it's the fact that we're not able to go forward with plans that we really wanted to go forward with. I mean, none of this is fun, guys. This is all difficult to deal with. Or whether it's just an overarching feeling that this situation is going on and probably will go on much longer than we feel comfortable with. All of this needs to come to terms with, and that process is not an easy one. Now, the Five of Cups is a card of grieving. It's a card of grieving for what we wanted that we don't have. Okay, as I said, it's coming to terms with the situation that we're in not being as we would like. Now, while it seems to be a bit of a gritty card, it does carry a promise with it. If we look at the card, we see 3 cups on the floor which have been spilt. Okay, this represents the thing that we're grieving. And yet behind the figure, just out of sight, are 2 other cups still standing. And the message of the card is always, do what we have to do, grieve while we really have to, but then ultimately we have to get on with life. We have to turn around and we have to embrace what's left, because that way we actually move forward into the next stage, and there is always something more positive. It will be okay. Whatever shape that is, right now we have to let go of the reins a little bit and allow things to reshape in the way they're going to. If we try and control the situation and just rail against the upset that a lot of us are feeling, it's not going to work. So we have to allow the process to move through, allow ourselves to feel grief where we need to, but also to understand that it is okay. It's going to be okay. It will be okay in a new and different way that maybe we don't know yet, and that's okay. I promise you, there is better times ahead. It's just October is a month of consolidation. It's interesting, isn't it, that it's part of the harvest month, and so it's a question of us, bringing in what we have and making the best of what we have. So to harvest everything that we have at our disposal and then using it to nourish us through the months ahead. And that's really going to be the energy that we need to take forward in this month of October. So I hope that's been interesting, maybe of some comfort. There's a little bit of grittiness there, but there is hope as well, that as we move through this time, we will be in a process that will lead us to the next stage, whatever that may be. So I wish you comfort and warmth in the coming months. Whatever the weather might be outside, it's looking very blustery and stormy. We have Storm Alex blustering away outside the window here in Twickenham at the moment. So whatever it's like where you are, I wish you warmth and happiness, and I'm always here for a reading if you need one. In the meantime, I'll see you next month, and I'll say goodbye for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.